and welcome to Rising Match Day this Saturday, the 14th of August. I'm Owen Evans, here to run through all the headlines ahead of tonight's Rising clash against Orange County. Coming up on the show. The run of form continues, 3 goals in 3 games for Aidan Quinn. Rising still up well ahead at the top of the table at the halfway stage. And it's the first of 4 clashes against Orange County this year. But first, let's look back to last weekend's clash up in Nevada. Another game on the road for Rising, this time facing Las Vegas Light at Cashman Field. Not the best start for Phoenix, a spectacular solo effort from Roberto Molina, taking on several defenders before tucking it away to give Lights a 1-0 lead. That lead didn't last long. Santi Moa on the breakaway for Phoenix, brought down by Alex Rando in the Las Vegas goal. No card shown here, the referee adjudging that the touch to the side from Moa just before the contact was enough to negate the obvious goal scoring opportunity. Worth noting, even if not for that touch to the side, it could only have been a yellow card. Moa won it, steps up to take it and sends Rando the wrong way, bringing the scores level. Shortly before the break, deep into stoppage time in fact, Aidan Quinn gives Rising the lead. Miraculously, the free kick touching nobody on the way in. Rando can't have gotten a good look on that on the way. Rising lead at the break. Second half, and it's Vegas finding the equaliser this time. The cross evades everyone, but nobody's really tracking Mohamed Traore on the far side. He hammers it home with enough power that even if he were to get a hand to it, there's no guarantee that Ben Lunt would have made the save. Vegas almost winning it in stoppage time, and Loski's curling effort coming off the woodwork. The follow-up hit the side netting, but not without convincing half the crowd and those setting off the confetti in the stands that Lights had nicked it. So 2-2 the final score in Vegas. Here's the reaction from after the match.
It's frustrating. I think we did enough to win. We probably should have been a little bit better on some of our chances in the first half. But, at 2-1 on the road, you let a team hang around. We dropped too deep. I think the guys were really tired there at the end. And it looked to me like their second goal was a foul on the guy pushed one of our players. And then they got open back post shot. So who knows? I think all night long it was very inconsistent with the referees.
Disappointed for sure. We're expected to win that game, and I think we should. So it's disappointing.
Where do you think it went wrong at the end?
I don't know if it was the legs went. We got tired. There's a little too much space, and that last goal was too much space, and ended up to an open guy. Just finished well, but we just need to finish out games, be a little more professional, and just finish out the game 2-1. But we can't have that.
They look like they're getting very physical, definitely with Arturo. Do you think that was a plan by them?
No, I just think they didn't have a midweek game and they had a lot of energy and they were getting frustrated and the referee let it go. Every time we put a hand on one of their guys, they got a call. Every time they put a hand on us, it was no big deal. Look, it sounds like sour grapes because we didn't win, but We got a point on the road in a difficult environment with kiddie pools on the sidelines and people running on the field, so I'm all right. We'll take it.
Well, the match finishing even on the score sheet and a fair bit more even overall than the Rising camp would have liked to see. Later on in the week, after having a chance to review the match further, Rick admitting he should have made a more defensive sub late in the match. Well, that matchup in Vegas, the third in 8 days for Rising, but how do the boys feel coming off of that run?
You know, we have 3 games in a week. I think it was tough for us. The first time we played 3 games, and the main thing for us is get 9 points. But I think we had 7 points of 9. I think that was good.
Last week was definitely tough mentally, physically for the guys, myself included, and I think going in 7 points out of 9 is definitely something to write home about and something to be happy with.
And one of the bigger talking points of that week, the pitches they had to play on in both Oakland and Vegas.
Last 2 games were tough. Oakland's field is terrible. Las Vegas field's not great either. So it's nice to be here. We have a great field here, a great fan base. So yeah, very happy to be here.
Well, talking about fields, how do those 2 from the last week compare to the infamous green-painted pitch of Orange County?
Yeah, the Orange County one last year wasn't great. I'll give them a little leeway just because they don't own it and it was through COVID, so that was tough. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like this year, but I don't think it's going to be worse than Oakland's.
Well, one positive to certainly take away, Aiden Quinn scoring in all 3 of those matches.
I'm kind of a guy that likes to get familiar, and it takes me a little while to understand my role, and I think now that I'm starting to go into form, I understand what I need to do defensively and when to pop up offensively. So I'm starting to feel good, and I think the team's in a good rhythm.
But besides just that recent run, what do the coaching staff see in Aiden?
The most amazing thing about Aiden is his work rate, and I don't think there's a game that he hasn't done less than 11 kilometers a match. He also has usually the highest amount of high-speed running meters. And he'll tell you himself, he's not the fastest guy out there, but he's always giving 100%, and when he's running at 100% and somebody's a little bit tired, it looks like he's really flying around the park, and that's amazing, for a guy at his age that still has that kind of a motor and he's that competitive. He goes into every tackle, every challenge. He's the exact definition of a number 8, and I couldn't get a better player in that position.
Well, one other piece of news, rising striker Rufat Dadashov on the move. Speculation began on Saturday after he was cut from the matchday squad despite making the trip, only compounded by Rick's refusal to comment on the absence on Tuesday, besides teasing exciting news in the future. Well, the speculation came to an end on Thursday, as it was announced Dadashov has moved back to Germany to play for Schalke 2. It's a move that leaves Rising a little thin up top, especially with Shea Adekoya departing the club late last week on loan to OKC Energy. David Egbo now the only real centre-forward left with the team, and his loan deal subject to recall, so he could go back to his parent club up in Vancouver at short notice. Well, now let's take a look at the rest of the Pacific Division. We'll start at Orange County, where they hosted LA Galaxy 2 on Saturday. The hosts on top early, Chris Wehan getting the ball near the halfway line, pokes it around the defender and ultimately buries the chance to put his side up 1-0. Galaxy 2 bring it level, Preston Judd finding space between 2 defenders and taking his chance to make it 1-1. Second half, Los Dos showing how to take a short corner. Josh Drack to Carlos Harvey, pretty simple, 2-1 to LA. The equaliser also coming off a set piece, Brent Richards' long throw not really dealt with by the defence, Ronaldo Damas getting the goal. But this wasn't going to end a draw. With the clock ticking down, Daniel Aguirre with a strike from the edge of the box. That gives Los Dos the lead, and they hold it, winning 3-2. Quite the contrast down the I-5 in San Diego as Loyal took on Real Monarchs in an interdivision match. Less than a minute on the clock, Monarchs passing it around the edge of the penalty area until Douglas Martinez sees an opening. Buries it at the near post. The only goal of the game, Monarchs take it 1-0. Well, let's get back to some goals. Tacoma Defiance against Oakland Roots on Sunday. Terrible judgment by the Oakland goalkeeper on this one, looking to clear it, but it's blocked by Samuel Adeniran to give Defiance a first half lead. Coming up to the break, Danny Robles brought down in the box. Initially the referee gives a corner, but a penalty then given after discussion with her assistant. Adeniran steps up to take it and seals his brace. Still going in stoppage time, the Oakland defence asleep thinking the ball went out, but Ray Serrano keeps it in, while Alvarez alert to tuck it away, 3-0. One bit of consolation for Oakland, while foul with this free kick in the second half, but they couldn't mount a comeback. Tacoma take it 3-1. Well, Oakland played again on Wednesday at Las Positas against Sacramento, but in contrast to that last match on the weekend, this one ending goalless between the two sides. So rising 11 points clear at the top of the table, both Orange County and San Diego actually losing ground on Phoenix. Should they win both their games in hand, 4th place Tacoma could leapfrog both of them in the table. Very tight on the edge of the playoffs though. Galaxy 2 just 2 points behind, Sacramento 1 behind them, and Las Vegas 1 behind them. The point for Oakland this past week, not really doing much to make it seem like a comeback is possible. So an afternoon game today in Oakland, with Roots hosting Galaxy 2 at 2, San Diego facing Tacoma at 7:30, and Sacramento facing Vegas at 8. A few midweek clashes as well, all of them on Wednesday, OC playing Defiance, Loyal hosting Lights, and an interdivision road trip for Roots as they go to Albuquerque to face New Mexico. So with Rising so far ahead at the top of the standings, how do you prevent complacency from setting in?
We're still a point behind in the USL standings, so there's always somebody that's a little bit better than you, and you have to think about it that way. And you know, we know that El Paso is on a great run of form right now, and a very, very good team, very well coached. We've got New Mexico in 3 weeks coming out of that division, and on the East, you know, Louisville is unbelievable, very good team. I think Tampa's in a bit of a run of form, so we pay attention to the whole league because just winning our division is the first goal. Most points in the Western Conference would probably be our second goal, and most points in the league would be our third goal in regular season, obviously. So there's always things that we can achieve no matter how well we're doing, and I constantly remind them that.
But overall, the club at the halfway stage of the season, what's the feeling on how it's gone so far?
We're good. We talked about it a little bit today. Sometimes it gets a little overwhelming as the manager that everybody expects you to win every game all the time, so that even when we do well, no one says much. But when we have a game where we give up a late goal, everyone's got an opinion. So that's part of being at Phoenix Rising. And I told our guys that 7 points out of 9, if anyone had told any coach in our league that's what you get after that week, everyone would take it. So for us, being in first place halfway through the season is a great achievement. You know, we've had so many changes. We've almost changed the entire staff, half of the roster, and it makes me very proud because it shows that there's consistency here at our organization.
So looking to tonight's match, what are we expecting to see out of Orange County?
They're an experienced team. They have Michael Orozco, Rob Kiernan, Kevin Olsen, Ugo, Brian Olowski. They have a lot of guys that have been either in this league a long time or in top divisions like Michael Orozco. So they have really good players, experienced players. They know how to win, and they're going to be motivated. Obviously, I think every team that comes to Phoenix is motivated, and especially there's a little bit of a rivalry between Orange County and Phoenix.
Battle. I think it's going to be a real test. I mean, top two teams in the Western Conference right now. They're coming off a bit of a drag right now, which is always a dangerous team to face, and we're coming off a high. So I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a good test for us. Great to be back home. That's going to be a huge benefit to us. But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a battle.
Yeah, Braden's a fantastic coach. He's got them very organized. They've got a lot of speed up front with Damus and Ilaski and Weehan on the left, and now they've added a Coley up front. So We kind of expect their transition to be very good. As soon as they win possession, they've got some guys that can really stretch the field. But Eloski is also very, very good on the ball, so you've got to pay very close attention to him. For us, it's going to have to be putting them under so much pressure that we don't give them the time to get out in transition. And I don't just mean defensive pressure. I mean when we have the ball is to be confident, to be patient, and similar to the way we started, I guess, at RGV.
And for two of Rising's players, they'll be coming up against a former club tonight.
A bit nostalgic, a little bit. I think that's a good question for Aiden Quinn, because he's been there more recently than I was. But no, it's nostalgic because I see coaching staff, I see staff members, I see some former players. You just kind of remember those times. You remember kind of like just going through the day-to-day and stuff. Can be beneficial, exploiting weaknesses in that way too. But no, it's a bit of nostalgia. But as time goes, Phoenix is home now.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really motivated for this game, so I'm looking forward to it.
Both Aiden and Andre played under current OC head coach Braden Cloutier, but what do they have to say about him?
I like Braden a lot. Braden's the one that brought me in. I've known him for a long time, since I was very young. My dad coached him. So he's a great guy. He had a lot of faith in me when I played there, and so I have nothing bad to say about him, only good things, and it's going to be fun to play against him.
He's a good coach. He's a good players coach. I think he was always good with kind of just really getting what he needed out of players, and then if there was issues, he was good to resolve. Tactically speaking, he's also very good. He really believes in the competitive edge and really trying to push competition into his players, which is why I'm really excited for this game.
And we'll round out by taking a look at our one to watch tonight. A Haitian international, 9 goals to his name this season, and he's scored in all but one of his last 9 club appearances.
Yeah, I play with him. He's a really good finisher. He runs so much, and I think one of the good things for him, he can finish every play.
Are you surprised at all that he's scored as many as he has?
Yeah, you saw one, he scored a lot of goals, and I think he's doing well in this league too.
How do you deal specifically with someone like Davis?
Generally, with a player like that that's so quick and fast, you have to bump him early and be very, very physical with him. Don't let him get enough space to run at you and be aggressive. I think what we've seen this last weekend, LA Galaxy was very, very physical with him, and I think it paid dividends for them to get a victory. But generally, when you have somebody that's faster than you either give him the room or you bump him early and give yourself a little bit of an advantage by getting off the blocks a little bit earlier. So it's no special secret. He's young, but he's dynamic, so we have to pay attention to it.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Tonight's game, a 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Enjoy the match. Goodbye.